is not the easiest thing to do. I had to definitely take some time to find my groove. My daughter is now 2, she's turning 3, so I'm in the toddler years, which means the energy has kicked up a bit, and now she has me chasing after her. But definitely one of the major things that I had to do, and I was told, was to take some time. They always say when the baby sleeps, you sleep. And it worked some instances. In some instances, I always felt like I had so much to do and so much to get done that I couldn't, rest. But prioritizing self-care and what self-care looks like for me, or my definition of it, pretty much what worked for me, and what was like, my high points, what gave me moments of just, downtime to really just either reflect on what's going on, even if it's not a nap.
Want to learn how to turn your aspirations into reality? Introducing Dr. Tori Ellis, a powerhouse in life and business coaching, known for her groundbreaking book, The Sound of Business: Seeing Entrepreneurship Through Hip Hop. She's not your typical coach. She bridges the gap between business and creativity, infusing her passion for hip hop into entrepreneurial success while creating a life of positivity. A certified coach, best-selling author, and entrepreneur, Dr. Ellis embodies growth and innovation. Her journey is a testament to unwavering empowerment, shaping businesses and inspiring individuals along the way. With a track record of revamping and scaling businesses, she's a force to be reckoned with. Dr. Ellis has transformed not just her own ventures, but also education, fitness, and professional services. Trust the expertise of a true trailblazer, Dr. Tory Ellis. Visit thesoundofbusiness.org today and use the code TRANSFORM for $200 off any coaching service. Thesoundofbusiness.org. Hi, Dr. Ellis. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, I'm super excited for you to share more about you. Talk about your journey and kind of how you got to what you're doing today.
Okay, so I guess like every, beginning story, it all starts from the home. I grew up in a family who was very dedicated to mentorship and giving back to the community. So with that drive in me, I took that legacy and expanded it off my own, made my own lane, and now I have a few different businesses. One of them is doing youth empowerment and teaching STEAM and mindfulness to the youth. So we teach K through 12. Me and my business partner, my business partner Danielle Corbin, and outside of that, I do transformational life and business coaching as well. So being able to help those entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, or just even people who are going through their transition of, living and being their best self, and finding those ways of doing that in life or in business and showing up for that. So definitely came a long way. I studied in my undergrad with psychology and criminal justice, for my master's with IO psychology, and then finalized my doctorate in human organizational psychology. So it's been a journey of psychology this whole time.
Yes, I love how you started with the home too. You know, a lot of what we learn early on we carry through adulthood, and luckily for you, you definitely had, some empowerment in a family that gives back to the community, and now you're carrying that on too. So I love seeing that too. And then you're super smart. I mean, you have your master's in psychology. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I know one of the things you had mentioned is the positivity part of the psychology. So what does that mean to you?
So with IO, one of the main things that I learned was the positive psychology aspect of it. And, making sure that the mind is having a positive outlook. And sometimes that is being very realistic and then knowing to certain limitations, but not being limited by that, finding and shifting your perspective and finding and thinking ways out of the box to then make what you need attainable. So with the positive psychology aspect of it, I fell in love with it because it was giving people not the false hope, but then pretty much showing like you can work on your mindset and definitely work on your thinking processes and how you do that in order to expand your world in so many different ways. So I love that part of it. And then now I just pretty much embodied that with everything that I do moving forward.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you're also a best-selling author. So talk a little bit about your book. What was the inspiration behind it, and what was your hope that you would accomplish with writing that book?
So the book you are referring to was actually my master's capstone class. My professor had us write a book on what we had learned during that course. And I created that book with my passion involved in it. I love music, and hip hop was definitely a driving force for me. So I connected the hip hop culture with entrepreneurship and showing the business side of it. So I did that, and my professor read my book and came back to me and told me I needed to publish it. So with his advice, I went ahead and published it and became best-selling in IO psychology on Amazon. So that was awesome. And then that just fueled me to continue to write more books. So now I have a children's book series. Well, we have two children's book series where, we pretty much are showing them other entrepreneurs, but then also showing them STEAM and mindfulness too. So it has just exploded and expanded into so many different things.
So the student has now become the teacher. So that's very cool.
Yes, I did become the teacher, and then still I always revert back to the student position because it's always a lot of learning and there's so much information out here. So I'm always in that position of going back and forth between the two.
Yeah, love that. Lifetime student. I agree with the same psychology behind that, because the more that we learn, the more that we can teach. So that's great too. And so you're also a new mom. So congratulations.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank
how
you.
are you finding balance now with the multiple businesses, being a new mom, being an author, still being, a student? How do you find the balance in all of that?
That is not the easiest thing to do. Um, I had to definitely take some time to find my groove. My daughter is now 2, she's turning 3, so I'm in the toddler years, which means the energy has kicked up a bit, and now she has me chasing after her. But definitely one of the major things that I had to do, and I was told, was to take some time. They always say when the baby sleeps, you sleep. And it worked some instances. In some instances, I always felt like I had so much to do and so much to get done that I couldn't, rest. But prioritizing self-care and what self-care looks like for me, or my definition of it, pretty much what worked for me and what was like, my high points, what gave me moments of just, downtime to really just either reflect on what's going on, even if it's not a nap, but napping is good too. I find that I take naps just as much as my daughter. Um, but just finding that downtime and making that what it would look like for me, because it may not look like that for everybody, but finding the tools that worked for me and then literally just leaning on that. And with that, I was able to find a good balance, but I would not have had that without my village, who was constantly reminding me to take some self-care and to take some time to myself for sure.
Yeah. So what is self-care besides naps, which I actually still do today? What does self-care mean to you? Like what do you do to help take care of yourself first?
So my self-care practices are like, um, after on Monday and Friday, I take those times specifically to do very minimal work activities, probably send out a couple emails. I don't really take on a lot of clients or take on any heavy meetings that day, those 2 days, because one, I actually have my daughter with me. So we're doing educational stuff, we're doing some bonding, and I'm really intentional with the time with her.
Mhm.
And outside of that, I'll travel, take my time to travel because I love to travel. So pouring into things that I love to do, take long baths if I have the chance to. Typically, you jump in the shower, you jump out, you're on the go. So when she has her moments to herself, I can go take me a nice long shower, probably light some candles, play some binaural beats or, some meditation music and really dig deep into that. I'll probably do a little bit journaling. If it's nice outside, I'll go outside into the sun, sit in the sun and earth, and really just take my moments in nature. So it varies for me, but whatever my body's calling for, I'll give it and definitely feel that. And sometimes self-care for me may be I need to just get some chocolate, So it varies, but however my body feels and that's what I need at that time, that's the care I need, then I do that. Even if it is me stepping out of the healthy regime a little bit, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I like that. So it can look different depending on the day and how you're feeling. And
Yeah.
obviously it looks different for different people too, but they need to figure out what is it that's important to them, how do they take care of themselves, and then being intentional with that time. So that's a lot of good information. So you're also a coach. Talk a little bit about your coaching program. What do you help your clients with?
So I focus on transformational life and business coaching. I do love more of the niche of the life. Reason being is because that transformation of when you want to make those big impacts and those big changes in your life, you do need some help.
Mhm.
Sometimes, sometimes it's a transition that is not easy, especially when you're navigating something that is unknown to you. So I definitely love to be that guiding light, probably posing a lot of tough questions or reflective questions just to get my clients to think some more of what it is that they're wanting to transform and for what reasons. Because when you have your strong motivations, it's definitely a lot easier to lean into those changes. But if you're motivated by something that is very temporary, the 9 times out of 10, those habits are going to be temporary too. So just exposing them to dig a little bit more deep into who they really are and what they really want without the pressures of what society says they want. And then from there we build.
I like that a lot too. So you're kind of outside of their box, so to speak, right? They're going
Definitely.
through this transition, this change, something big, major is happening in their life. And you're helping them to think about, well, what about this? Or what about this? Or have you thought about that? Just so that they have like that clear picture of everything around them that's happening, not just in the moment where they're at and their transformation.
Right, because I feel like a lot of times the focus is always put on what can you do for the outside and how is outside affecting you. And
Mhm.
from what I've learned and I experienced, it's more on the inside that the focus really stems from because then it's a more deeper level of transformation because now it's something that when you are right on the inside, you're able to exude all that energy outwardly. So making sure that inside and you are the way you want or the way you considered is wellness, the way you consider healthy, the way you consider your success is
Mhm.
key. And that helps too with people and their self-esteem, their confidence. They glow a lot differently when they feel good. So it's pointing those fingers and those eyes back inward. So we are definitely able to see those things that may be blocking us or maybe stopping us and then realizing like hey we are in more control with our bodies and with our feelings and our thoughts and our habits than we think. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, the habits for sure. I'm always working on those because it's very easy for us to get into a habit that doesn't serve us.
Mhm.
And then you have to be able to recognize it and then unlearn that habit too. So what's in the future for you? You've accomplished so much. Obviously, you're doing some incredible business things. You're still giving back to your community. What do you see as the next step for you?
I mean, it's only, as I say, it's only up from here. So I'm just gonna add some more tools in my repertoire. I know for now, I love the holistic part of coaching, and the holistic part of health for myself. So definitely now, being that I have fully enthralled myself in it, it's a little bit different when you actually want to handle those tools. So I'm gonna go into getting my certification in sound bowl healing because I know that was a real point for
Mhm.
me, and helped me a lot. And it was definitely something that was comfortable for me. So it's probably going to be part of my self-care too, of me being able to do it for myself, but then, opening it up to be able to do it for my clients as well. And, taking all the other businesses and the programs and expanding it so that way nobody, no kid, no youth, no adult feels like they do not have those tools, and there are resources that are out there for them, and I'm just here to spread it.
Yeah, take the information and share it. So
Yes.
yeah, very good. So we talked about your coaching. Let's shift gears and talk a little bit about your other business, which is more passion and give back. Tell us a little bit more about what that is, what you do, and perhaps a way that our audience can help.
Well, one of the businesses that I do have is a youth program. It is a nonprofit as well. So we pretty much teach our kids STEAM and mindfulness. So STEAM is the science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And we teach them about mindfulness and meditation because social emotional learning is very, very important. And
Mhm.
we want to make sure that our kids are having the tools that they need to be able to self-assess, self-regulate, and to have the emotional intelligence to navigate through the world, right? So we teach the kids from K through 12. We do mentorship with them. And there's so many different facets of the program. It's like a la carte. They can choose and pick what fits best for them.
Mhm.
But ideally, it's literally so they can get the resources that they need in all facets. So we teach urban gardening, mindfulness, meditation. We teach engineering and math, financial literacy and entrepreneurship. So
Mhm.
all those, the nicks and crannies that they would need and they don't get in their regular learning each day
Mhm.
for extracurricular activity or just like, an enhancement, we do programs for the kids for that. And we give those tools, even the parents, we have parent universities as well, to give them the tools that they need to help their littles, help their youth, but then also to help themselves with something that they maybe they want to do and become entrepreneurs themselves, or, have a different financial plan. So we try to help everybody.
Yeah.
And
And,
that's all
and
we
you,
can
I
do.
love that you hit on the financial literacy. So if you need any assistance, I'm more than willing to give you my time. If you need help with any of the resources, either for the children or for the parents, this is my jam. So if you want some help on creating or expanding those programs, I'm more than happy to give the time for you. So as we start to wrap up a little bit, I have a fun question for you. And I'm curious to see like which way you're going to go with this one. But if you had a superpower, what
Mhm.
would it be and why?
Okay. So if I had a superpower, I think my superpower would be to um hold my breath and swim underwater.
Oh, and
And
why?
yes, because well, right now my daughter is loving all things mermaids, loving all things mermaids, and she loves to be in water just like I love to be in water. I always tell people, if you ask me if I want to be in the sky or if I want to be in water, you will not see me jumping out of the plane. Gravity will bring me straight down, but at least with water, I know I'm either going to sink or float. I got two options. So I would prefer to be in some water, but definitely to be around the sea creatures, the sea animals. It's a whole world down there that, you have to feel comfortable and be able to explore. And that's what I really want to do. So I would say that would be the superpower I want, because I want to be able to not just swim with the dolphins, but go swim next to some whales and, go touch on some animal creatures that's down there and love up on them in a different way that you wouldn't do if you was on land. So
Yeah.
I think that's my superpower down there. Mhm.
Oh, that's so incredible. I like that. All right, Dr. Ellis, if our audience wants to get in touch with you to learn more about what you're doing or how they can help, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, if you do want to help with our programs or give donations to our programs, you can go to our website at www. That M as in Mary, S as in snake, Y as in
Yellow.
yellow. There we go. As in snake, and P as in Paul.org. And we do have a donation button there for you to make donations. And if you want to learn more about our program, you can find it there. If you want to book coaching with me, or learn more about my coaching services, you can find my website at The Sound of Business. So literally the way it sounds, thesoundofbusiness.org. And you'll have the coaching stuff available. I do have a promo code right now for anyone who's interested in coaching. Just put in a promo code Transform and you'll get $200 off of your coaching.
Yes, love the discounts. And that was the name of your book as well, right? The Sound of Business.
Yes, that started the whole thing. So it just so happens my books are always starting my business ventures. So the book started this coaching venture, and then my children's book started the programs. So
Yay, amazing. I can't wait to see what's in front of you. For those that are maybe listening and not watching the video, your face is just so lit up right now. So you can tell that what you're doing is your passion and you love it. And when you come from your heart and you're working in business, you're going to go so much further because people can tell that you care. And when they can tell that they care, they want to work with you. So definitely reach out to Dr. Ellis if you want to learn more about her coaching program. I'm sure it's filled with positivity, and would love for you to just be able to share that with more people. I really appreciate your time on the podcast today. Thank you.
thank you for having me, and thank you for all the listeners that are listening. You're doing an amazing job, Angela, and keep up the amazing work.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into Empower Her Money podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, share this podcast, and leave a review wherever you are tuning in.